Hi lovelies, this is Blossom, and today we're going to the next Ogham, this time Aspen or Eadha. So I'm sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I found a few suggestions, but I'm not really know how. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm very sorry about that. However, Aspen is associated with the autumn equinox. The letter is E. The animals associated with it are swan, white mare or dove, and the colors are red speckled or grey and silver. Let's go to the lore and legends. Aspen is very closely related to the white poplar, and in many places those two trees are used interchangeably. Aspen is known as a trembling tree and also strongly associated with the festival of Samhain. It has a history of use in spell work for helping the alleviation of fears, controlled contacts with beings from the underworld, and peaceful contact with the spirits of the dead. In Ireland, rods of aspen were used for the measuring of dead bodies for coffins. Thus, aspen was deemed a respectful tree to use for this delicate and sacred task. But in ancient Wales, the tree was considered cursed because of its connection with the dead. It was thought to be the wood from which Jesus' cross was made. The association with death also connects aspen with the autumn equinox, a threshold between death and renewed fertility. Cuchulainn called the aspen kinsman of birch, referring to its position as liminal, the closing of one phase inevitably ushering in another's new beginning. Angus' word Ogham for it is exchange of friends, a time of transition and passing on, which suggests a safe assisting energy, an ally and support. Erin Rowan associates it with the fly agaric. It grows in a symbiotic relationship with the birch tree and can thus be interpreted as a brother or kinsman of birch. This fungus is well known for its association with vision seeking, being used by Siberian shamans and other spirit workers around the globe. Aspen is associated with fear because of its role as a threshold tree. In the scholar's primer, it is referred as horrible grief, a test tree. Threshold means change, and it can be a terrifying thing on many levels. Fear sucks life energy and causes us to resist change. This makes the transition even harder, strips us of strength and makes us more vulnerable. Aspen can also be seen as a powerful goddess tree, with its different species being attributed to the various aspects of the triple goddess. Thus, the aspen is the tree of the maiden, the white poplar is associated with the mother goddess, and the black poplar the crone. The goddess embodies the threshold and portal into life, serving as a caretaker, and later she who lays out the dead, and aspen can be seen as accompanying that experience, youth through death to life again. The aspen's trembling leaves links it with the presence of spirits, particularly wind spirits, but also otherworldly and ancestral beings. As such, it was also associated with oracle and augury. It was used in making divinatory incense, and listening to its leaves rustling can invoke trance states. The rustling is sometimes believed to be the tree itself communicating. The aspen's voice was also attributed to fairies and otherworldly beings who gathered around its shade. For this reason, aspens and other poplars are considered to be gathering places for all sorts of spirits and energies. It was also thought that the voices of the dead could be heard in aspen's rustling leaves, understood only by seers or shamans. These trees are especially significant, serving as a threshold and visionary tree where messages from the other world can be accessed. Aspen grants assistance in the ability to receive these messages, helping us to develop the courage to do so. Aspen also teaches us the right use of magical power, as connection with the other world and multitude of spirit grants access to the greater abilities and knowledge. It helps us to understand when working with spirits, we are participating in a magical universe far larger than our perception. Aspen was used to make shields, and it was almost as popular as Eadha for this purpose. Like the alder, Aspen also makes good shamanic shields, giving courage when embarking on new terrain, assisting the spirit of the fallen warrior to move on and find a way to the next world should the worst happen. It is said that the hero Cuchulain's shield was made of aspen, and that he received his final training on the Isle of Skye from a woman called Scatha, which means both shadow and shield. To pass the tests and learn the lessons of shadow is to come to terms with the underworld and otherworld inside and outside ourselves. Gaining courage and going beyond our limitations and perceptions is crossing the threshold between what we are and what we could be. So, and that's it for the lore and legends. Let's move on to the magical uses. Aspen can be used in anti-theft spells. It was also planted in gardens and fields to protect the property from thieves. You can burn aspen as an incense at Samhain to protect you from unwanted spirits and to help you release old fears. Otherwise, you can also use the wood of the poplar to burn as an incense for change and success. It carries the vibration of foresight, protection, powerful speech, renewal, and healing. Poplar was also added to flying ointments. The poplar spirit is a keen guide into the world of divination and seeing true, as well as a bridge builder between earth and spirit realms. In Scotland, it was thought that by placing an aspen leaf under the tongue would make the person more eloquent. I should try that. In older times, aspen crowns have been buried with the dead to enable these spirits to be safely reborn. You can use the aspen tree also for weather forecasting. If you need to know if it will rain, stand near an aspen or white poplar tree. If the leaves make a great noise and clatter, then heavy rain can be expected soon. Put aspen wood under your pillow to bring you a quiet night without worry. Aspen is also used in sympathetic magic to heal nervous complaints and conditions that induce shaking and trembling, and of course the overcoming of anxieties and fears. Sometimes a lock of a person's hair was buried beneath an aspen tree or hung in its branches so that the tree would take the illness from the afflicted. It can also be used in communication and money spells or in spells relating to legal issues. In Celtic tradition, aspen and poplar are associated with the fairy queen who grants the seeker a tongue that cannot lie, an ancient reference to the gifts of prophecy and magical eloquence. Aspen also has value in peaceful banishing and space clearings, especially relating to rites of the dying and dead, when it can be used to anoint, spray, or burned as a fragrant oil. Using aspen can help the spirits transition and attract beneficent guides and ushers to lead the way to any lost or fearful spirits. But the aspen's essence must be actively asked for assistance, and when using the tree's physical matter, permission should always be sought and the material magically charged with specific intent. And now to the healing properties. Aspen was used for fever and nervous complaints, and tea made from its buds is said to be good for cats as well as sore throats. You can use aspen as a vibrational essence to aid you if you feel fear, anxiety and apprehension, but without knowing the cause. It is also helpful for people who are sensitive to impulses and psychic current around them, such as conflicts in the workplace, the psychic energy of strangers, but also the fear of war, financial disaster and other what-ifs. It can aid you to take you from that fearful place where you seem to be caught. It can also help you to recognize the divine power of love. Dr. Bach recommended aspen for those with profound spiritual sensitivity, whose unconscious or semi-conscious soul disposition is imbued by those influences from the psychic world which are not fully understood. The inability of the awake consciousness to process, digest and transform such experiences produces various states of fear and dread in the human soul. It helps ease shaking and trembling and relaxes the light body, helping agitated vibrational rate, the result of communicating with spirits or simply being close to them. It also helps to make the spirit communication experience easier, replacing fear with trust of self and others. And I talk a bit about that in my fairy videos, I don't know if you watch them, but I talk a bit about the trust that you need to enter the fairy realm, and other videos will still come where I talk about that. So if you are interested in that, I don't know. So aspen could be the vibrational essence if you don't trust yourself really, or if you don't trust to enter the fairy realm because of certain, older stories, folklore of fairy, which makes it maybe seem very dangerous. However, aspen is an especially powerful remedy for those who feel nervous or anxious at night, or who experience fretful, disturbed sleep. In fact, these sensitive souls are often experiencing the phenomena of unseen realms, ancestral influences not yet fully apparent to, not regulated by the conscious self. As well, many adults suffer from various states of low-grade anxiety, panic, or other states of fear because their soul consciousness is so immensely susceptible to, yet incapable of encountering in a clear and peaceful state of mind the reality of worlds beyond the physical. And now we go to the last part, the divination meaning. So if you get aspen in a reading, it can indicate that now is the time to conquer your fears, and you have the ability to endure your problems such as doubts or self-confidence issues. It reminds you to take the necessary steps to get to know yourself by dealing with your shadow side. Know that you are able to bend instead of breaking. Turn your thoughts from the fears and doubts that plague you. Refuse to give in to worldly pressures. Great assistance is headed your way and will accompany you on your journey to rebirth. Aspen speaks of the power of pure will, of the individual ability to overcome through mind over matter. It relates to communication and connection between worlds, people, and individuals. It urges you to get things moving, drawing in life force and enthusiasm. Aspen may indicate the missing piece of the picture and brings in completion, whether that may be a task, a journey, or an elusive thought or idea. You are reminded to listen to your inner promptings and the messages of spirit, but you may also consider advice from your elders. It can indicate that you have become imbalanced with the ebb and flow of life, either in overload, shaking and trembling with fear or unused energy, or in a state of inner drowned and stickiness, where life needs stirring up and quickening once more. Trust in the infinite and cross over the threshold. There we go, that's it already for the Aspen. And next week, or next time, I don't know, we will have the last few or fid of the fourth Acme. And many people only uses those and skip the Forfeda. What about you? I really want to know, how do you feel about the Forfeda? Are you planning on using the Forfeda as well? Because I am planning, and I will do some videos about the Forfeda. However, I think it's tricky. It's very tricky because the Forfeda, as you may know by now, are additional letters that came much later, and not much is known about it, so there are no straight facts about it. It's very a personal choice. So I'm thinking about how I will do that, because probably I will use some of the Forfeda that are not so well known, or that are not, in your typical oracles. You have maybe different Forfedas than I will use. So tell me, how do you plan on using the Forfeda? I'm just curious. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Much love and blessings, and bye-bye.